Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how power of sales or foreclosures are up a massive 800%, how mortgage delinquencies are rising quickly among borrowers with large mortgage balances, how 40 condo projects have been shelved, which is certainly going to cause housing issues in 4 or 5 years, and how we've experienced the second slowest quarter of pre-con sales in the past 20 years. My name is Macallum, and I'm a real estate agent and team leader here in the city of Toronto. And if you'd like to chat about buying, selling, or renting, you can go to the first link in the description of this video. From there, select a time that works best for you, and I'll give you a call. And if you learn anything from my videos and haven't already subscribed, please take 2 seconds to do so. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm less than 100 away from that number. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm a year into posting weekly real estate videos on YouTube, and now I'm just realizing that I haven't asked you what you want me to cover. So if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to talk about in future videos, let me know in the comments section below. The number of power of sale listings on TRREB is skyrocketing, as you can see to the right side of your screen. Before we look into the numbers a little bit further, it's important to know the difference between a power of sale and a foreclosure. Basically, a foreclosure is the process of the lender using the court system to take possession of the property when an owner is in default on their mortgage payments. Then the lender can sell the property to repay the outstanding mortgage debt. And if the sale price exceeds the outstanding balance and fees, the borrower may be entitled to the surplus of the funds. While a power of sale is an out-of-court process initiated by the lender without the need for court involvement, as long as the mortgage contract contains a power of sale clause. The overall result is the same as a foreclosure, with the lender receiving the proceeds to repay the mortgage debt and any surplus returned to the homeowner. At the start of 2022, there were about 10 power of sale listings on TRREB. And then as the year went on and our rates increased, we saw more and more properties become listed under power of sale. And now we're at a point of having 90 power of sale listings on TRREB. The reality is, though, at the end of October 2023, there were over 19,000 active listings on TRREB, and only 90 of those were being sold under power of sale. So the sky isn't really falling because in the grand scheme of things, less than 1% of active listings are being sold by the bank. Also, a very important thing to know about power of sales is that they aren't always the best deals. And the reason being is that the lender who's selling the home has to put best efforts towards selling the property for fair market value. Power of sales tend to generate a lot of attention and a lot of buyers want to explore them, but often they aren't the best options. Buyers of power of sale listings take on a lot of increased risk, especially if the agreement of purchase and sale is not drawn up correctly to protect the buyer. Also, something that a lot of buyers don't know is that most of the time, if the owner in default somehow brings the mortgage back into good standing before closing, they can take ownership of the home again, and the new buyer no longer has a property. And along the same lines, but before homes go under power of sale, mortgage delinquencies must occur, and those are rising. Borrowers who have mortgage balances of $400,000 to $850,000 at origination are beginning to have an increased delinquency rate, as you can see from the thin red line and the dotted line. But what's more interesting is that borrowers with mortgage amounts of $850,000 or more at origination are seeing an even steeper trend up and to the right since the end of 2022. But I mean, does that really surprise us though? Many people who purchased before 2022 on variable rates with high mortgage amounts could for sure be struggling at this point in time. But if we actually look at the percentages to the left of the chart, less than 1% of mortgages in Canada are delinquent. So again, the sky isn't really falling. In actuality, mortgage delinquency percentages are still lower than they were back in 2019. As much as power of sale and mortgage delinquencies increasing is alarming, the number of construction projects in the GTA being put on hold is really concerning. According to Urban Nation, 40 condo projects in the GTA have been shelved by developers, and those 40 projects represent almost 14,000 units, which is crazy to think about because year to date, there have only been 13,000 pre-sale launches. We're not going to see the impacts of these projects being put on hold for another 4 or 5 years, but those 14,000 units, which we should have had added to our housing stock, will no longer be available for resale or for rent. And we can see the issues in this chart. We were moving in the right direction until 2021, and then we hit a brick wall in the new GTA condo sales, which dropped us from 8,000 sales in Q3 of 2021 to just under 2,000 in Q3 of 2022. But we are inching higher in Q3 of 2023. However, it's not nearly fast enough. We're certainly going to see the negative impacts of this in a few years. If consumers aren't buying pre-sales, then developers can't get construction financing, and therefore they can't build. If they can't build, then our overall supply-demand imbalance becomes even greater. And as we can see here, our housing completions in Canada is seriously lacking in comparison to our population growth. It's pretty obvious, but if our population continues to outpace our new home completions, then we could see some serious price acceleration and a rise in homelessness and a decline in quality of life here in Canada.